Hello, everybody. I am Bill Smith, and special shout out today to Reddit Smoke, which is Reddit's kind of mid-level training task force. Smoke teaches HQ 14s and 14s to 18s how to basically play slightly more advanced tactics on ops, including how to use Smoky Zookas. Currently this is structured as a training task force, and currently we're not quite full, but we'll get there. And also the plan is to graduate people from Reddit Smoke. Currently, I'm in Reddit Bootcamp. So actually, this video is somewhat aimed at the Reddit Smoke players and others like them. I'm going to show you my approach to Gearheart today. So a bit of a backstory: my account's currently an HQ 20 with 5 offensive statues. I'm sort of stockpiling power powder in case I wanted to push for the leaderboards, but I'm not actually sure that's going to happen. Nonetheless, having fewer offensive statues makes me kind of a bit more on par with the with the mid-level players, I guess. So earlier today, Margician, who's one of Reddit's best Smoko players, posted a takedown of War Factory, and Margician has 6 GBE and 4 troop damage statues, and he smoked right up to buy this pair of boom cannons and just I think 3 shots in one box for critters to distract the shock launcher south of the core. Took it down in one shot. With my senior account, Bill Smith, I basically replicated the attack. I have only got 5 GB statues. Unfortunately, I've lost the replay, but I don't think it would add very much. It's like, okay, newsflash, you can take this thing down with 5 GB statues. It's not something you'd stop the presses for. What's more interesting, I think, is showing like I guess mid to high level play. So for someone who has HQ 18 with full offensive statue complement, I think you could take this down. It would be hard, and you would have to break the attack down into smaller chunks. I'm not certain I could have taken it down at HQ 18. You would definitely have to have 5 good attacks, and one thing I am not is I'm not like a really consistently good attacker. Sometimes I have pretty good attacks, and sometimes I mess things up. And so with this account, with my junior account, I tried to emulate Marty's attack at first. I have 87 starting gunboat energy, and it turned out that I just did not have enough GB to distract all the defenses at the core. So second attack, I've lost this replay. But yeah, my second attack, I tried to take down the shock launchers, and unfortunately I messed the path up. So you can see that shock launcher here is slightly dented. Well, that was because of a little pathing mistake. So the issue with this layout of Gearheart is that when you're smoking up to right by the factory, you're going to have to take a diagonal path that goes around some buildings. And because I'm a bit rusty with this layout, it hasn't spawned in a while, I kind of mispredicted which way my Zookas went around the buildings. But anyway, so like I said, I decided to break this down into several parts. First, I decided to take out the shock launchers south of the core. That'll basically save me 1 shock or critter box when I try to finish the factory. So one thing you can do if you're newer to Smoky Zookas, by the way, is that while it will consume more GBE, you can try to flare. You can try to use the walls to pathfind. Your Zookas tend to group up more nicely if you flare them into the corner of a map. Not exactly a perfect strike here, but basically I did get the 2 shock launchers down. Yeah, it wasn't so good. Took a few attacks to find my mojo, but as you can see, this sort of thing happens to everybody. So after that, I went and bombed these two rocket launchers such that one carefully placed shock, like right here, will mobilize this entire battery of rocket launchers. Okay, that's attack 3. I've lost the other 2 replays. But yeah, so for this attack, I think these 2 launchers had about 30-some thousand hit points remaining. It turns out that I think 2 barrages, 4 artillery shells. And I start with only 87 gunboat energy, so that's quite a lot of energy. What I did to recover from that was that I essentially sacrificed 1 boat of Zookas to go farm some crates on this side. This is like a favorite tactic of the leaderboard pushers if they're trying to take Gearhart down. If I remember right, yeah, you can just farm any undefended cells for gunboat energy because your Zookas really do a lot of damage. Even 7 boats of Zookas does a considerable amount of damage. So after that, yeah, after collecting a few crates here, I went and rushed the core. Now I'll try to explain a bit about Zooka pathfinding while we do this. Okay, so Zookas will proceed. Zookas tend to favor like 90 and 45 degree lines. So they tend to prefer to go straight or in diagonal lines. You can always flare slightly off diagonal. And when you do that, okay, you do want to be a bit more careful. How they'll usually handle an off diagonal kind of flare is that they'll take a 90 or 45 degree line and then they'll take if this were open ground, they would take a 45 degree line until they were kind of at 90 degrees to the flare. So I'm pretty sure that if this were all open ground, they would kind of walk up to the wall and then it would be like, and then they turn straight to the flare. When you've got buildings that are placed kind of weirdly, how you want to do it is that you want to kind of put yourself in your troops' position. You want to draw a straight line from where your lead troops are to the flare. And as you can see, it's not, the flare's not exactly at their 12 o'clock. It's at their 1 o'clock. As imagine if you were one of your Zookas down there and you could see through the smoke. Because the flare is at 1 o'clock, anytime they come to a batch of buildings that's kind of weirdly placed, you should kind of assume that their path will bias to the right. So as you can see down here, okay, I placed this next smoke down here. Watch what happens. Yeah, so that happens. So had I placed my smoke further to the right, I would have covered all my Zookas. And you'll in fact see me do that the next attack. So I kind of threw that critter with the smoke timer at about, I think, 10 o'clock. And that was cutting it a bit close. So one of the other issues with this layout is that the factory is on the far side of the island relative to your gunboat, so your gunboat abilities take a while to hit. I was actually aiming to throw my critters. You can use the smoke timer to time your critter throws. Usually with this amount of distance, I aim to throw the critters when the smoke timer is at 9 o'clock, assuming maxed smoke. Okay, if your smoke is not maxed, you are going to have to throw stuff sooner, which could get dicey in this, at this distance. Yeah, so either way, now I've got all 8 boats of Zookas. See how I placed that smoke differently? Yep, all my ladies get covered very nicely. Okay, now it's like, okay, flare the core. I know it was like 1 box of critters and one shock. Oh, okay, sorry. It was like 1 box of critters to attract the first salvo of laser and mortar fire, and then the plan was to shock it. So it was like critters, shock the launchers, then shock the mortar and laser beam cluster. It turns out that actually I could have just shocked the. It turns out it didn't matter. Like I said, Zookas do a lot of damage. I took this thing down, but yeah, that's how it went down. back to how I would do this if I were an HQ 18. You only get critters at HQ 19, so without critters, it can be a lot harder. If you really know your timing very well, you can basically mix critters and shocks to really save a lot of GBE. Nonetheless, if you were HQ 18 or maybe even HQ 17, I would definitely take the shock launchers down first, and then you could farm gunboat energy with grenadiers even, sacrifice one attack for that and bomb those 2 launchers down, and then by the time you rush it, 7 smokes and 2 shocks for an offensive account at HQ 18 should be possible. You'll probably want like 2 Zuka rushes on the core. Yeah. You guys will also notice I did a 2 smoke landing on the shore. If you are newer to Zukas, I would do a 3 smoke landing until you're comfortable with this. Until you're comfortable with 2 smoke landing. You really don't have a lot of margin for error if you're only using 2 smokes. So yeah, that was kind of a overview of a pretty, I guess, fairly challenging Zuka attack. I think it. So if you're an HQ 20 account and you're newer to Zukas, HQ 20 or higher, I think you should be able to take this down in 5. Like I said, there's no shame in breaking it down into several discrete attacks if you aren't used to Zukas yet. If you were an experienced HQ 18 offensive player, I think you could do this too. 17 would be a bit dicey, and you need to be a lot more consistent a player than I am. But yeah, so challenging, but I think doable War Factory. Reddit Smoke guys, I hope this helps you, and I'm gonna make an effort to occasionally record some vids, but I don't have a lot of time these days. Nonetheless, yeah, like I said, I hope this helps you, and so checking out. All the best.